Welcome everybody to this new video. In this video I'll be talking about 16 things I would change slash add in Vail. You can also watch some Citadel gameplay in the background, but this video will be split into 5 parts, those being main guns, secondary guns, tactical guns, melee weapons, features, and then maps slash game modes. So let's get started. For main guns, I would really like to see the AK-47. Comparing it to the AK-12, the AK-47 is way more popular and way more recognizable. And right now we only have the AK-12 and the AK-303, but the AK-303 is made up. So comparing it to the AK-12, I think the AK-47 could be a great option because it's just the most recognizable out of the AK series. Next up we have the P90. The P90 is just a gun that looks really cool, and I love the weird mag placement on top of the gun. I've mained the Grot B for like a crazy long time because of the weird mag placing, so I think the P90 is a really great gun, and looking at the style of the guns which are already in Vail, I think the P90 would just fit in perfectly. So that's my second opinion. Third main gun. This one is kind of weird because you could also put it in the tactical, but I think a turret which you can put your gun on, giving you 3 points of contact, or maybe even 4 if you're using a gun stock, could make sniping so much more fun, because without a gun stock, sniping is just impossible. But having like a turret which connects your gun to the ground, making your aim way more steady, could be a great way to add sniping to the game and make it useful, because right now the snipers are just too hard to use if you don't have a virtual gun stock. So that's my third opinion. For secondary weapons, I would add a double action break barrel shotgun. I see this as a small shotgun with the same kind of reload as the revolver, meaning that first your empty shell drops out and then after a second your main shell will fall out. I think this could be a really good secondary option because the shotguns are just too weak to be your main gun, but having them as a secondary gun could work really well. And again, this would be a really interesting reload with break barrel. Melee weapons. The only reason I made this video is because of the melee weapons. Because right now we only have the knife, and I guess you could say we have the pickaxe, but it's only usable in Citadel. So I would really like to see a throwing hatchet. How I'd see this working is when you swing it at somebody and then hit, it will only do 50 damage. But when throwing it, you get a kill when hitting the enemy, of course, 100% of the time. Unlike the knife, which when hitting the hands, the arms, the feet, will only do 80 damage. So the throwing hatchet would kind of be, at long range, more OP than a knife, but close range it'd be worse. And the throwing hatchet also won't give you a boost like the knife will. Okay, please don't hate on me if I pronounce this wrong, but the Karambit knife, how I'd see this working is it gives you a way higher speed boost than with the current knife, but the Karambit knife can't be thrown, and when hitting somebody with it, it will do less damage than the knife. This would make it so it's like really good in artifact, but in different game modes it's like, yeah, are you gonna take it or not? So I think it's pretty balanced and a good option. Next up, you probably won't agree with this, but I think it could have potential, a riot shield. How I see this working is, the higher the caliber of your gun is, for example, the highest caliber in the game, I don't know what it is, but that would have 100% penetration on the shield, so every time you shoot at it, you'll go through, guarantee, and then the lowest caliber would have like a 5% chance with like an SMG or something. So unloading a full SMG mag could get you like 3 hits, so if you aim pretty good, you can get the kill. But using a sniper, you can just instantly shoot through the shield. So I think that could be a really great option. Of course, most games can't really balance it, but I think like that would be a great way to balance it. first tactical weapon I would like to add to Veil is a C4. Just a sticky bomb you can blow up with the press of a button. It makes sense. You can put it somewhere on the artifact point, and when you hear somebody trying to deactivate it, you just press a trigger and boom. Some things which I think would be really fun is being able to pick up enemy C4s. You won't be able to ignite them because the enemy still has the trigger. But for example, you could throw down a C4, your teammate could pick it up, and then you can't blow up your teammate. So your teammate can just run into the enemy spawn, and then you just blow them up the second they gave the call for you to do that. So I think that could be really fun, and maybe it would be more like a meme item than a useful item, but I think it's a good choice. Next up, we have an RCXD. I see this as basically two switch controllers on your arm, and you can grab it, and then just like the thermal grenade, you can pull them apart, and then a little cube drops out, which unfolds into an RC car, and then in the middle of what you just pulled out, there will be a screen. On this screen you can see what the RC car sees, and then with your left joystick you can just drive it around, and then with your right trigger you can blow it up the second you see an enemy. This, again, I think this would be really funny to just try and get a kill with, and I see some potential in it. Maybe even make it so you can mount a gun on it and fire guns from a safe distance, but I think it could be a lot of fun. A really quick one, anti-smoke grenades. Activated, throw it in the smoke, smoke gone. Boom. Different reticle skills in one loadout. Right now you can choose your reticle skill, but this will apply for every single loadout and every single weapon in your loadout. So, for example, I really like 0.1 for my main guns, but for my secondary guns I like 0.5. Right now I'll need to choose between those two because I can't have 0.5 on my pistol and 0.1 on my main gun. So I think they just need to change that so you can have multiple different reticle scales on one loadout. Next up, make it so when you take an enemy gun, you keep their reticle settings. Right now, if you grab an enemy's gun, it changes the reticle settings to yours. So for example, if the enemy chooses yellow for the reticle color and you choose red, then picking up the gun from the enemy will make the reticle color red. Same goes with scale. So I think they should just make it that when picking up an enemy gun, you keep their settings for that gun and everything. Next up, I have no idea what it's called, but I'ma just call it a tourney scope. What I mean by that is one of those scopes which when grabbing it and twisting it, the scope gets more zoomed. I think this could fit very well in Veil, especially with the recent scopes where you can flip the scope onto your side, which looks amazing. So I think, I'm gonna just call it a twisty scope again, I think that could fit really well. A map which I would really like to see is a cave map. Make it really tight and kind of creepy, like an abandoned mine with mine carts you can hide behind and maybe some crates. Kind of take inspiration from the caves map in Gorilla Tag, the old one. I think something like that would be really cool and kind of creepy, and combining it with the next game mode, it would be amazing. Okay, the game mode I was just talking about is a game mode where your enemy outline color basically disappears and the name tags of your teammate also disappear. So you need to be really aware of your surroundings to not get killed. I've done this with my nephew in a private lobby with enemy outline turned off, and it's so much fun, but it just gives you disadvantage, so that's why I think it should be a game mode, so everybody has the disadvantage at once. And the last thing I would add to Veil is a crown game mode. A game mode where there spawns a crown and you need to try and get it. And once you get it, you start gaining points. Every second you get a point, kind of like a hard point. And the lobby has some idea where you are. For example, every second, like a little sound you make, or maybe a watch which has an arrow on it where you can see where the person with the crown is. Killing the person with the crown can make it so you can pick it up, and then get points yourself. First person to 50 points wins. I think this could be a really cool game mode. If you like this video, please hit the like button and let me know in the comments if you want to see more of these kinds of videos, because then I might make some for Animal Company or maybe even a part 2. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe, because I'm planning on posting a lot more. And thank you for watching this video. Bye.